Gentlemen, next up, a panel discussion. Are we Homo Technologicus, AI for People and Society? Our panelists are Himanshu Shrivastav, Group Chief Technology Officer at Futtaim Group, Nixon Dixon, Head of Data and AI at AWS, and Srinivasan Sampath, Group Chief Information Officer at First Abu Dhabi Bank. And our moderator, Jane Witherspoon, Bureau Chief for Euronews. Please welcome our guests.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back. Thank you for those of you who are sticking with us. We're going to keep things moving, and I hope you've been enjoying all of the sessions that we've been presenting for you today. And as you can see, we have a fantastic panel, and I am going to give each of the gentlemen a few minutes to sum up who they are, their company, and what they do. So over to you first, Himanshu.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the invitation and be part of this festival. I'm Himanshu Shrivastav. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Futtaim Group. And as you know, Futtaim Group is a large conglomerate with lots of businesses: automotive, retail, estate, healthcare, finance, insurance. My job and responsibility is to manage the technology and data requirements and platforms for the group and support all the divisions in their growth plans, with technology being the enabler. Thank you.
Thank you. My favorite name of the day, Nixon Dixon, over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here, and thanks for the entire crew here and the organization for hosting this event, and also to inviting me. My name is Nixon Dixon, and I lead the data and AI services business for Amazon Web Services, covering Middle East, North Africa, and Turkey.
Thank you. Srinivasan.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be part of this panel. My name is Srinivasan Sampath. I am the Group CIO of First Abu Dhabi Bank. I've been with the bank for over 6 years now. Prior to that, I was with Emirates and BD. I take care of technology for the group of FAB. We span across 19 countries, starting from US to China, and we care of technology of the entire group from UAE here.
Okay, as we said, the title for this session, Are We Homo Technologicus? Sounds like a dinosaur, but it's all about people and society. So I thought I'd start with that point. Nixon, if you can begin, how do you define AI for people and society?
Oh, that's a great question, and I possibly would summarize the entire panel into this particular question. So let me take this inspiration to answer this question from a summit event that I attended yesterday in Saudi Arabia. Like, we had a global AI summit there, and I was honored and be part of the to listen to the keynote by His Excellency Engineer Abdullah Al Swaha, who is the Minister of Communication and Technology for Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So he spoke on exactly this topic in very three simple topic. Or 3 Ps, which is like people, planet, and prosperity. So he emphasized on this point of people, how AI as a technology can embrace the entire ecosystem to build a better future for people, build a better future for society. Secondly, he focused on the planet. What are we doing using technology and AI, generative AI, to protect our planet? How do we take care of the planet and the planet take care of us, right? It's an ecosystem where we all are bounded together. I'll talk more in detail about all this. At the third, he spoke about prosperity. We need to spend time working on leveraging technology and AI to improve our economic system, build the economy, build future growth so that we kind of thrive future ahead. There is a stable economy in place, right? Part of people, the focus was on healthcare, the focus was primarily on education, security, right? So there are a lot of technology services that we are looking at, that we're building in our product portfolio as part of Amazon Web Services, which is helping in developing our services to cater to people in healthcare, education. At the same time, for planet, how do we help control the deforestation? How do we reduce the contamination of fresh water, right? How do we understand the methane in the air, right, which is creating problems in certain regions, right? There are technologies there available with AI, with that advancement, understanding how the planet is behaving, right? At the same time, for prosperity, for where we thrive, right? It's important to build a great infrastructure, a smart city, an infrastructure for great transportation where we kind of live. We spend time. How do we prevent accidents? How we prevent kind of a security risk in the ecosystem that we work? So all this can be done, and it all come together as a force which a technology and AI can help resolve a lot of those challenges that we see.
You mentioned a lot of very good points there. But, how can we ensure, though, that the AI being used for these good initiatives are really, truly beneficial and sustainable for the communities that we're seeing them help globally?
Right. Great. So I follow AI for Good. I'm not sure how many of you folks do. If not, please follow AI for Good initiative led by ITU, which is International Telecommunication Union, and UN and UNESCO. Right? They've come together to build an initiative to promote technology-driven, service towards people and society. To answer your question, Jane, let me give this with an example that I can, for one of the case which was brought out in this forum in May 2024. One of the presenter, she's like visually challenged. She can't see. After the age of 12, when she was a kid, she banged herself in the swimming pool, and she kind of, lost her eyesight. And from that day, she kind of worked towards seeing how she can embrace technology to help remove this kind of, bottleneck in the life, right? So she went on doing research from that age. She got inspiration from the childhood movie that she had seen, like a parrot guiding a kind of a super robot. So she went on to build a technology, an AI-driven bag, kind of a suitcase, right? If you see someone walking, someone who is visually challenged walking, they will always have a dog and a stick to kind of, see if I'm not getting, hit by someone else, right? So she went on to build a bag which kind of walks in front of her, and that bag has a GPU, a memory, and it has a hard disk, and it has a battery in it. So in short, if you see, that particular bag is nothing but a kind of a small data center with a GPU. And that's ideally a kind of an AI machine learning model that is running in it. And that bag guides her to navigate her road, to come up, protect her while she's walking. And also it guides. The technology is amazing. If you guys want to kind of get inspiration, how AI can really impact people and technology in real society, that's an amazing series that you should watch as part of the AI for Good series.
Himanshu, can you show us how Futtaim Group is identifying and investing in the emerging AI technologies to maintain your competitive edge across your various business operations?
Sure. First of all, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, when ChatGPT was announced, everybody started looking into this upcoming trend or a transformation, and obviously, organization like us had to actually embrace it. We started our journey on building the foundation which will help us to leverage AI for all our businesses early in 2023, and we understood what this technology would need. First of all, we started working with partners like Microsoft. We were one of the early adopters of Copilot to test in our environment. We started working with SAP because SAP is at the heart and core of any large businesses like us, and we knew that SAP is also thinking about launching a Copilot kind AI. And if we upfront decide or use that, we will be a market leader. And if you correlate all these, early 2023, we signed up RISE with SAP. We knew that SAP will unlock these features over cloud. So that decision is helping us now to unlock every AI investment with a large company like SAP is doing. We are the first ones to get it. Copilot, we were the early adopters. We started working closely. GPT-4o, when it came, it was available to us in 2 weeks. We started building examples or use cases on top. But all that was experimentation. And just to tell you a brief how we structured ourselves. We quickly realized that we have to do it as a transformation agenda. It can't be an ad hoc experimentation, which we are doing in bits and pieces. So we set up an AI office. Beginning of this year, we announced our Chief AI Officer, Moza Al-Futtaim. We set up the entire organization with the agenda that we will identify the pain areas and what AI can help to relieve or solve. And with that, we had our first AI summit in May this year, where we took a pledge. We wrote down what exactly we'll deliver in next 3 to 6 months. We are planning to have a follow-up on that soon. And we have almost documented more than 100 plus business use cases. We have tested more than 10 of them. I can share a few of them here, sure, in this conversation. Sure. But I think we are prepared. Data at the heart and core, because Al-Futtaim has 300 plus businesses, and we have a wealth of data. So one thing we have invested in is creating a data platform, and smartly we added an I in front of it. It's I for intelligent. So we've got an intelligent data platform, which is an AI-enabled data platform. We have connected all our businesses into a single identity. We know our customers end-to-end across all 300 businesses. So if you shop at Marks & Spencer, you walk into IKEA, you drive a Toyota, you have a Orient Insurance, we know about it. Obviously, we have to apply all the societal norms. Responsible and ethical and sustainable AI is at the heart and core. So we are working on that now, and we'll see how we can use this information and AI as a tool to enable us further.
Thank you. Srinivasan, can you provide examples for us in terms of how First Abu Dhabi Bank is currently enhancing its efficiency, the decision-making and customer experiences with the bank?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. See, AI has been in use and practice for many years now. It's not that, once ChatGPT became prominent, I think everybody started become anxious, and, a lot of attention on what AI is going to do is what everybody is focusing on now. And starting from the boardroom to various levels of management, there's a lot of, interest and inspiration on how AI can be influenced. Now we are talking about how AI is going to influence societies. I think one of the things which people are looking at going forward is they want to have a better control of their financial life, right? How they can actually have an control of their own financial life, and how they can drive what they want to do from a financial perspective in terms of what Nixon said, prosperity, wealth creation, and how societies can be, influenced and helped by the usage of AI. So whatever we do now, I think being a regulated industry, we look at the customer as the center of what we are doing, right? How do we help customers? How do we make them, easy for them to use because more and more people are looking for personalized experience of what they want to do. Even if you want to launch a campaign, if you want to launch a product, or if you want to adopt a digital journey, everybody is looking for a more personalized experience. So from an usage of AI, from a leverage of AI perspective, we are looking at how can we give that personalized experience to the end customer, and how the customer can feel comfortable in terms of the information that he is receiving, right? Because most of the time, if you do a prejudgment of what has been done using AI, do some analysis and then offer something to the customer, there should be a trust element of what the data given to them is not of a breach or something, into his confidentiality, intrudes into the confidentiality of the customer. Mm-hmm. So we take that very seriously from a data protection, data privacy perspective, and we offer a lot of, help to customers in terms of choosing their products, using wealth creation in terms of, the robot trader has been in practice for many years now. How do we use robot trader to help customer to enhance their wealth, multiply their wealth? which is relevant to their context, because every customer has their own financial profile, own sort of interest. What are the areas that they want to invest in, how that investment can be multiplied, how we can give some insights about the market, and how help customer to reach their financial goals. Ultimately, it helps them to shape their life. There are a lot of requirements. For example, if you have children who are studying, how do you want to plan yourselves for their education? And if you are looking for an housing, how do you plan for your education? How can you multiply your wealth? What is the right time that you want to do? How many years of investment is required considering your financial profile? I think in a lot of these aspects, to help the customers to make sure that they take the right choice, they take the right decision, and they feel secured from a financial institution as a partner who's helping them to actually achieve their family goals and financial goals. So there are a lot of things in which we focus on these aspects and then use AI to see that how we can fast track some of the decision, because data churning on all this is very important. When customer does a shopping in a mall or he does an e-commerce transactions, we know the sentiment of the customer. So what is the sentiment in the customer going towards it? What is that he is looking for? What is the pattern in which the customer is moving towards, based on which we help them to meet their financial goals. So there are many things which we are doing, keeping customer at the center.
You meant, without having your financial head on, and you mentioned consumers there, which we all are, and again, you talked briefly about data protection and privacy and why that's very important to FabBank. But do we ever get to a conversation where we say, how far are we prepared to let the technology into everyday life? We're talking about people and societies, and backstage you told the story about the health chip you can have put into your arm, and that will tell you if your blood sugar's low when you need to eat. When is far too far, or is that not even on the agenda?
No, I don't think it is new far. I think, as humans, we are getting adapted to technology. We are getting adapted to change. I think most important thing is to how do you educate? Yeah. I think communication is education is one of the key aspects of adapting any new change, right? So communicating the usage of it and usage of technology, how it can be leveraged for positive aspects in our life, because there's always a double-edged sword in terms of whether are we using it more, or are we using it like the social media, whether you use it for your advantage or using it just for browsing it throughout the day so that it takes a major part of your life, right? So from a technology perspective, I think there is a change, there is communication, there is adoption. As I mentioned, I think with a chip on you, it helps you to shape your life. For example, it gives you indications that how do you need to take care of yourself, right? Which probably earlier we might have to visit a doctor, I think once in a quarter, to do a test and then make sure that based on the test you take actions. Sometimes you don't properly follow your pattern of life. You get to know that some of your parameters are out of the way, and then you need to take action, which takes a lot of time. But today, if it tells me that I had to take action now, I can take corrective action immediately, which will help me to improve the way in which I live, right? So I think technology advancement and adoption is going to be part of our life, but how do we educate ourselves and how do we use it from a positive aspect of it is going to be the key.
I think Himanshu has something to add into this.
I agree with what Sampath has mentioned, but the way we look at it is people are using AI actually today, and what ChatGPT and other LLMs did was it gave it in their hands, right? So everybody has AI, and we have been using, by the way, all the TikTok users and Insta users use AI filter, you know that, right? And do you think people are so good in writing such nice articles in LinkedIn? I don't think so. It's amazing. So people are using AI everywhere. When Copilot came, and as the name suggests, it's your Copilot. You're the pilot and a Copilot. In fact, some companies use names like Sidekick. So you are driving and you are getting somebody who can be your buddy, by the way. And I read somebody mentioned to me that this year, everybody should have an AI as a friend. You need to try AI every day in your life to check what it can help you with. And to link that to how we are connecting AI for our customers and our employees, because we want to create a balance. It's all about human and machine. For our employees and our staff, we want AI to help them to live a better life. Now, people come 9 to 6, but they work actually 9 to 8, 9 to 10. They work the next day. AI can actually help them to finish tasks much faster. There are rudimentary tasks like if a boss sends you an email, 10 times you think before this is the right sentence or not. Have I phrased it correctly? How it will be interpreted? Using a co-pilot on emails, on Outlook, makes your life much simpler. I can respond to 100 mails now compared to 20 mails earlier because I am not using that much think time. So that's something which I have been using. And one thing which I heard is AI actually multiplies your skill set. So if you are X, you can become 10X, but you have to be X. Now, obviously, how you responsibly use it is important. On our customer side, we know customers use AI as an advisor. We want to create a buddy. So we are working on a project. It'll be soon customer live, so I can speak about it. We are creating a lifestyle advisor platform. Every service of Futtaim will be accessible through that advisor. You can talk to that advisor to guide you, buy a car, sell a car. I want to change my jacket or buy a new jacket. I want to celebrate my kid's birthday. Guide me on that. It'll help to curate all the services it uses, all the data we have about you and we have about our products and services and help the customers. So that's something we are already working on, and we feel that's how we'll balance the use of AI.
I like the word that you call it as a co-pilot. But as humans, we like to interact, human interaction. What when the technology gets just as capable as we are? Of course, there's the empathy thing. We had a panel earlier, and someone from the healthcare sector, and they were explaining how you cannot replicate that, but we can get close.
Yes, I can just. Yeah, I've also attended a previous session where they kind of, I will also allude to what Himanshu was saying, like, technology is there to help us, enable us, right? Technology is not there to kind of replace us, or it's not there to kind of, compete with us. It's going to, to take it back, the industrial revolution gave us machine, right? The AI and technology revolution is going to give us thought, thinking, right? The innovation, right? That's where we are moving. And that's the era that we have entered. And none of them compete with each other. We need to ensure that we build technology and AI solutions in place which will work together in harmony. And that's kind of, leverage the entire ecosystem to kind of go together, right? Obviously, I can be very, very much, it's very clear that any organization, I'm sure, like I have two banking experts sitting left and right with me, right? So it's very clear, and I'm very clear that to all the innovators, leaders, engineers, data scientists, right? AI is there and it's real, and the people who, or the organization who adopt it's gonna kind of compete with the other organization who do not adopt it, right? And it's the early adopters will obviously kind of disrupt the other industry or organization who do not kind of adopt. So that's where we are going, and we are kind of integrating this AI solutions in our daily life, and it will be an assistance for us, like the use case that I shared earlier. It's gonna go along with us, embracing our life, and kind of make it a better place for us to live, right?
Srinivasan, when we talk about some of those points, whose responsibility is it then in terms of I'm not talking hardcore regulation, but someone needs to be in control. Who's responsible for that?
I think that's the gray area still. I think in terms of actually assigning the ownership of the output that is coming from the AI, because it is subject to different interpretations. Because when a lot of data is being churned and an output has been given, it's subject to interpretation. The person who is actually reading the outcome of the result that's coming in, can interpret it in a different way, and probably communicate it in a different way to an end user, which might end up probably even taking a wrong decision. I think regulations are still coming up in terms of how do we manage the ownership. The user can clearly say that the result is given by AI and it's not something which has been calculated by me. So who takes the ownership at that point in time? I think what we are doing first is to setting up a governance of it. It is important to set up a governance and foundation of this entire thing and make it clear for people that what is their role and responsibilities in an AI world. Because you cannot get away with it. You are going to use AI at any point in time, right? I think as Nixon and Himanshu said, Copilot is a complementing us in terms of what we are trying to do, right? And more clear example is that, we are still emotionally driven as humans, right? So whenever you get an email which you are very upset and it is disturbing you, the first reaction is to bust out your anger into that email, right? But Copilot will tell you, are you okay with this tone? Or you want to change the tone? Right? It gives you that pause to see that, do we want to emotionally react to that message or stop and see that you can probably respond in a different way. So these are the ways I think, AI is going to help us to complement in what we are doing. But from a regulation and ownership perspective, I think still it's a work in progress. We need to wait for that governance and clear roles and responsibilities to be defined so that, people know that this is the accountability and ownership that they're taking when they're responding to such situations.
So that grey area put aside then, what role do you think governments, private companies and non-profit organizations should play in developing and implementing it for social good?
I think protecting the end customer, which is what is very important. I think the end customer needs to be protected. There can be right decisions, there can be wrong decisions, which probably there might be, accountable for it. But in such situation, how the law, how the regulation, how the authorities are protecting, not only from a regulation perspective, even from within an organization. What sort of protection, what of security is being given to the end user in case if there is anything, the decision which is not right. So that's where I think the end user and the end customer should be protected, and the regulations law should be designed in such a way that the people are feel comfortable in using it, and in case of any eventuality, they are protected by law.
Himanshu, what potential future AI developments do you see coming that I guess could influence your industry?
Yeah, let me correlate some of the developments which have happened. So there are three technologies which have been evolving rapidly, and you were seeing them in bits and pieces for last 10, 15 years, and they have suddenly come up to a maturity and advancement which is mind-blowing. So one is LLMs, obviously, trillions of parameters LLMs are trained on, and they are super fast, and they can compute and answer any kind of information assessment, and they can answer you back. And then you have got natural language processing, right? You can speak and create and generate any kind of content. You can speak to AI, and AI can speak back to you. The third is computer vision. These three have already come in. Now, a combination of these to create new outcomes is what we foresee. And obviously, the element of combining robotics with these three things will actually create humans and pets. In fact, Go won the first pet created based on AI. It's the first pet created in China. It has all the attributes of an actual pet. So that's something which is happening now, and what Elon Musk is doing on integrating a chip into human body, and then you have got AI powering it. You can create superhumans. Now, these are some of the things which are happening already, so I cannot think what more. What I feel is I should watch all the science fiction movies I watched in 70s, because all of them are coming true. Star Wars, Star Trek, everything is there. Yeah, I don't have a lightsaber yet. That's something which I wish, but just to be serious on that, I think the way we use technologies in our everyday life, they will start merging. The world is becoming phygital, right? And that we know. And any innovation you can think of by combining these two is happening. A parallel world, a virtual world, and then from the virtual world you come and converge into a physical world. That's what is happening, and it will disrupt our industry, because if I am sitting and using my Meta 3 glasses and I'm trying to, I'm exploring a world, and then from that I figure out, okay, I need to go to that place, which is a replica of this in physical world, or vice versa, and then I start doing that. That will become a daily thing. That's what we feel, and it will disrupt the industry we are in specifically, which is retail. We want people to come to our malls, so that's important for us. So we have to figure out how we use them to converge the two worlds together.
Nixon, we've heard a lot about how it's impacting human beings and daily life, but can you tell us a little bit how you think AI can be leveraged to address more global challenges like climate change or poverty?
Great. It's an amazing question, and we've been working with quite a lot of researchers and environmentalists in terms of building an AI-driven solutions for environment protection. Right. So one of the example I can give is using some of our services where we've kind of advanced in a way that we trying to figure out deforestation in certain set of areas. Like in the US and all, we have certain LLM developed with the integrated with the solution, the technology with drones, where it flies over the entire forest and try to see where it's kind of the forest is getting depleted, right? It basically sends through the lasers, it sends through the scanners and try to see which is the place that they should spend time and invest onto and kind of reforest it, right? That's one of the example. At the same time, we are also working on great farming, because farming is quite important. Like, it's our livelihood. I was actually looking at one of the experiment that we have done with the scientist is, if you know, right, when you do farming, you kind of put weeds at a very early days, and if some of the weeds are not kind of has been infected or it doesn't grow properly, it needs to be taken out. And it's very small, it's very tiny, and it would take more than 1,000 people to kind of pluck out these weeds out of it, right? And not taking out the weeds, which is actually good. So you need to differentiate between the weeds and the shards in such a way that you let the weeds which grow and can become a crop, and it kind of support to the environment, to the people, the food, right? So there is this technology which has been built using I don't want to talk about the services and technology name here, but the Amazon services, where it's integrated in that particular vehicle. It scans to the entire farm, and it locates which particular weed is infected, and using the laser technology, it kind of disrupt the cellular life cycle of that particular weed, right? So it does the work of 1,000 people in just a couple of hours, like 3 or 4 hours. This machine needs to just go through the entire farm, and it does it. And at the end result, it basically helps in better farming, in better output for the farmers, right? That's one. And I would like to take another example of a medical healthcare. We had a session here. We're working with one of the life science partners like Philip and radiology partners and all, in developing clinician technology or an imaging system using Amazon Health Suite services and Amazon medical services, right? Again, health lake services, in which we are actually building a technology where if there is an emergency, someone walks into the emergency of an hospital, there is an audio mic that the clinician would use, and because there is no time, right? You need to help that particular person who is kind of in a critical situation. So this clinician would just talk with an LLM on the mic and say, this is the name of the person, this is the social ID. LLM will provide all the background history of this particular person, and he or she is allergic to something, he or she has a past medical history. All these things have been popped up, and while the doctors are performing the critical operation or surgery to that person, it guides the doctor that you should do this for this particular patient, right? Just imagine where we have kind of leverage the technology in an AI to an extent from a farming climate. And again, in poverty, poverty is again a big discussion when it comes to certain section of our society where that are underprivileged. Where should we give education, right? Where should we invest through NGOs, right? So everyone plays a great important role in kind of taking care of this particular set of people, right? So AI is we've been using AI even in those areas where we're trying to educate people through distance. We're trying to empower them with the right technology. We're also removing poverty because we're identifying early trial of medical to see there is diseases which is not spreading in certain section of society, right? So this is where we're seeing a lot of investment happening, a lot of researchers are spending time, and we are also complementing it with AI and technology to kind of embrace the entire society towards climate and all the way till well-being of society and removing poverty.
And extending to what Nixon said, I think once the crop status is being studied and how is the nature. Even the data are being used to see how many drones are required in order to see what type of fertilizer is required in order to put across the crops. Now the drones can cover, acres and acres of land in order to put fertilizers, which imagine the human if they have to go across acres of land. And that data is being used, AI is being applied to choose the right type of fertilizer and then see what is the ground that needs to cover and how many drones are required for what period of time.
Just to add, the drones will not replace humans. What I've heard from one of the top CEOs, yes, drones are required. The important aspect is we have created much more work in this world than we can do. There are certain countries where the population is declining. If we don't have technology and AI, some of the countries cannot sustain in future. The load on earth which we have created requires AI. And that's something which is very important. And that's why the mindset is the work we are creating is 10 times more than the humans in the world to finish. So you need AI to become more efficient. You need robotics to support you. And then have a sustainable life which can nurture for a long time.
Srinivasan, you were telling me earlier that, FAB Bank, you use an avatar for some of your town hall meetings. And, I've got 6-year-old twins who talk about avatars and, they're growing up with this. How do we need to educate the next generation who will be embracing this, knowing that some of the jobs that they're going to be doing don't even exist yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, going forward, many of the mechanical jobs that we are doing on a daily basis or periodical basis is going to be replaced by avatars or an AI agent which will do it. As I said, I think just to give an example, what we're discussing is that, when we have town halls, I think each of the leadership team comes and gives their own updates. They take different tones, different way of expressions and different things, whatever, and takes a lot of time. So how do we basically make sure that it's consistent and sustainable and it creates a sort of enthusiasm with the people? So one of the ideas how can we use AI to generate an avatar, and then avatar communicates to the entire team with a lot of emotions and a lot of fun and all those things. I think going forward, that's what's going to happen, that some of them, like for example, I'm sure many of this in these rooms, after the Copilot got introduced and views Teams, no more write minutes anymore. I think the minutes are automatically coming out after you finish your meeting. You don't need to sit and think about what was the discussion, and it's become much more accurate than what you want to, remember and reproduce from a minutes perspective. It's accurate, and then you can summarize action points. So, which means a number of man hours that you spend on these mundane tasks are automatically taken care of. And this is a benefit for the next generation. Yeah. I think that's what we need to educate the next generation. How do they leverage AI for their benefit, to do the normal mundane jobs to be taken care by an agent, and then they can focus on doing more productive things. This is the communication and education which we have to keep doing to the next generation and bring that balance. Because always then there is a new technology, there is excitement, you can play a game up to an extent, or you can playing the game for 24 hours. So where do you strike that balance? I think that's the education and communication that we need to give it to the next generation to make it more productive and useful.
Very quickly, because we're almost out of time, but we will keep you talking for the moment. If you can tell me what you think is going to be the biggest change for people and society within your specific sector in the next 5 years.
In our specific sector, I think most of our services, especially in financial services, will be done through digital channels. And it will be much more personalized, much more easier, much more flexible. Many of us here would never visited a branch in our life for the next, 4 to 5 years. That will keep vanishing. The new generation doesn't even know that there is an physical branch existing. So that's what the life of in the next 5 years is going to be all in digital. And there won't be any physical interaction. Even if it's physical interaction, is going to be virtually and no more direct into, unless and until it's a need which needs to be done, but otherwise it's going to be all digital.
Thank you. Nixon?
Yeah, so for us as a technology service provider, right, we want to enable the large retail and banking customers for us to kind of, reinvent themselves, innovate themselves, when we keep striving ourselves to kind of come up with the services and technology which help them to kind of stay ahead of the business, innovate themselves in their particular way. And I was talking to Srinivasan sir and Himanshu, right? How we can leverage technology in all different industry sectors, whether it's retail, banking, healthcare, education. And in UAE, we're seeing a huge adoption of technology and AI, specifically in education. Right? They are kind of spearheading the entire adoption of AI in United Arab Emirates, right? And especially in Middle East as well. So I think from our side, we will continue to work towards, innovating technology, services, making it more easily accessible, affordable, as well as make it kind of scalable for you to leverage it to the banking and retail industry and all the other industry as much as possible.
Thank you. Himanshu, you've got the last word.
Yeah, so what I was just thinking, what should be the thing? I think in future with AI and technology, most of us will work while we are walking, and we'll have fun all the time. We'll be vacationing. We'll be sitting on a beach and finishing our job because there will be a AI supporting us. We want people shopping all the time. That's what we want in our industry. So people love shopping and eating.
I'm coming to work for you after that.
So everybody is working, shopping, eating. Nobody needs to go to office. I think that would be a great world in next 5 years or so. That's what I'm thinking.
Sounds fantastic. I'm sure we'd all agree with you. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, please put your hands together for our fantastic panel this afternoon.
Thank you.